I've got a story for y'all. Let me tell you about it, women. When you're not feeling well or something feels off, you need to listen to your intuition. So, earlier this week, my stomach was bothering me in the lower region, like up underneath my stomach area, more of the pelvis area. It felt like dull, sharp pains that just would not go away. Ignored them, took some Tylenol, kept on going on with my day because I have to. That's what we do, especially women. Well, second day, same thing. Tylenol took the edge off, still in pain to the point where not able to sleep. Shook it off, more Tylenol. Hmm. Third day rolls around. It's too much. So, per usual, try to go to urgent care. In my area, you have to make an appointment just to go to urgent care because the walk-in schedule is ridiculous. So, the one closest to where I live didn't have any appointments until 6:30 that afternoon. I was like, nah, I don't want to wait this long because if it's something more, I need to know about it ahead of time. So, I decided to go to one cross town. Y'all know I've been having those that have been following me, been having some issues with transportation. So on this day, I did not have a vehicle to use. I had to catch an Uber there. So I catch an Uber there. And some of the symptoms I was getting, I had stopped eating because my stomach just was hurting to the point where I just really couldn't eat. But it was really not it's in my stomach, but not my stomach. But just the pain associating just kept me from eating. Wasn't able to drink. And that's not good. I underwent gastric bypass surgery a year ago, so it's not good for us not to be skipping meals and not drinking. So I get to urgent care. I tell them my symptoms, and they're like, well, we don't have a scan here. I'm like, great. So I said, well, let me go ahead and go, be seen. So at this point, I wait. I'm probably there a whole 45 minutes before I'm even seen with an appointment. So I get back there, and they tell me, do you realize you have a fever? I was like, no, I knew I was cold, but I associate it to my surgery. I have points in times where I'm cold, I'm hot, I'm cold, I'm hot. They call it the bariatric bird, something that you have when you have the surgery. So I didn't think nothing of it. So I said, no, I didn't know I had a fever. So, they're asking me my symptoms, they're trying to see if I have a UTI or STI and things like that. And I'm like, no, I don't have any of that. And then, they're starting to run the test. So she's concerned because she was saying the area where I was complaining of pain, it sounded like it could possibly be my colon. Now, y'all know with the type of surgery that I've had, that is a possibility. So she was more concerned because I was running a fever. So she was saying I needed to go to the emergency room. Well, I told her that most likely the quickest I can get there would probably be later that day, with the car issues and stuff like that, boyfriend working, things like that. I wanted to make sure he was able to get home, stuff like that. So I waited. They put me on the books to be showing up there at 6:30. So I called him. I told him, hey, because he was wondering if I was feeling better or what I've done. I said, no, I'm not feeling better, but I just left urgent care. I'm running a fever. They want me to go to the emergency room because they don't have the equipment to check me properly. So I said, if you could, just try to be off no later than 6 so we can get to the to the place before, you know, time or whatever. So he was like, okay. So he got permission to leave. Somewhat permission. That's a whole nother story for another time. That's his story, but if he'll allow me to tell it, I will tell it. Okay. But anyway, I went ahead, went back to the house, started packing my bags because she was telling me like the scenarios, like if it's an infection, they most likely will give me fluids, give me some medication, antibiotics, send me on my way. If it's serious, then I may have to have surgery. So I was preparing myself to possibly stay. But what the shocker was, I wasn't prepared for the diagnosis. So we go to the emergency room. And of course, I'm sitting and I'm paranoid as hell because those that are from Charlotte, y'all know how CMC Maine is. We're used now Atrium Health. And my doctor advised me I needed to go to the main hospital and not to the other affiliates. So I was like, crap. Okay. So y'all already know what the scene is like. You got people that are sick in there, certain homeless people. It's the whole fiasco. So I'm sitting there for hours on end. I finally get to the area. Blood pressure is extremely high, y'all. I have a high tolerance for pain, but it also runs my blood pressure up. So it was through the roof yesterday and the day before. It was high, and I was still running a fever. And they took my vitals, and then they told me that I would have to do a CAT scan that consists of contrast, but they wanted me to take the liquid contrast. Now, mind you, I was already having difficulty drinking and eating, but I had to drink 2.5 bottles of Gatorade, and I think they were the 16.8 ounces with this dye stuff in it. And I had up to an hour to drink it. So I got it. I forced it down like I needed to within that time frame so I wouldn't puke it up. But upon diagnosis, they saw on my CAT scan where it was something going on with my ovaries. I'm like, huh? And they were like, yeah. They said they thought I had ovarian torsion or possibly some type of ovarian infection. So, they started asking me questions like, normal questions. And I'm like, no, I'm not having those types of problems. And then, they asked, I do have an IUD. And no, I don't have it for that purpose. Of course, it can be used for that purpose. I had it for another medical reason. So, they say it's rare, but there are times when your IUD can cause you to have like the pelvic inflammatory problems. So most likely what happened is I was not aware I had it at the time, and it went up to the ovary itself, and on the left side it is really, really bad. That's the area where I'm complaining about, to the point where I've got to take antibiotics for 14 days. They were concerned because the way the CAT scan looked, it looked like it had turned, which means it would be cutting off the blood supply to the actual ovary. Then they made me do a vaginal ultrasound, and they saw that it wasn't as bad as it looked on the CAT scan. So I had to follow up with my PCP. Then I had to follow up with the OBGYN, which we already know that was going to be a while because I'm not expecting no child. So I will have to wait until November the 11th. But if I'm still having problems, I'll have to follow up with my doctor. And so far, antibiotics seems to be working, but I'm still in a whole lot of pain. So I'm trying to get this pain part management cleared up before going back to work tomorrow, which is kind of hard. But anyway, I'll keep you all posted, and I'll have more videos to come today because I need to. I'll do a live and explain more then. But yes, bye for now.